Hi, Tarsh, and welcome to our conversation today on female-owned publishing houses and what it takes to start your own publishing company. So thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about your upcoming book because you're going to be launching later this month. Yeah.
Yeah.
You also are having a baby in just about, well, less than a month now. Yes.
Yeah. So I launch, our book goes to launch on the 29th of Jan, and my baby is due on the 2nd of February. See how we play that one out. Anyway.
Exactly. It's going to be fun and exciting.
I know. Have these moments of like, why did I do that? Anyway, that's just how I roll, I think.
You can handle it. It's how you do it.
Yeah.
So I want to rewind and take people back to before this moment. Yeah. So tell me about the business that you were running before you decided to say yes to publishing, to starting your own publishing company.
Yeah, sure. So prior to this, which is kind of prior to September last year, I was, and still am, a business strategist and holistic therapist working with female entrepreneurs to help them build and scale their businesses. That's what I was doing. I was working, running my own group programs, masterminds, one-on-one coaching and consulting containers, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And this is something I really am curious to hear because you would sell out programs. You're doing very well. What made you say yes to adding something to the mix when it was working?
Yeah. And, it wasn't actually until after I said yes that I remembered this. It's kind of a little bit, no, it's relevant, I guess. I had a psychic tell me that I was going to start a publishing company. My grandmother came through and she said, you're going to start a publishing company. You're going to, my name, Tarsh Ashwin, is my grandma's name. She was Ashwin as well. And the publishing company is Ashwin Publishing. And at the time, I remember being like, what? Publishing? Are you serious? That was like the first thing. So when you started, obviously I've done 2 multi-author books with you, Adriana, that have been really transformative for my business. It was actually a year ago, 2 days ago, I believe, that the first book, Leaders, went live and hit bestseller. And that just set the year, it set my year in such a powerful way, right? Such incredible momentum, amazing visibility. Like, it was just so powerful for me and for my business. I did a second book in July with you, Awakening, that it was just a no-brainer, to be honest. I saw what it did for my business and for my client load and the momentum, the visibility, the authority that I was able to really generate as a result of that. And when you started talking about this, I wanted to be able to facilitate that for my clients as well, because, they heard me talk so much about how powerful that process was. And it was just a no-brainer. And obviously, like I had in the back of my mind, was like, the psychic told me I was going to start a publishing company. Wow, how about that?
Here it is.
Yeah.
I love that, because that's actually a question someone recently asked me is, what did being in a book do for you? And, was that part of why you wanted to do this? So I love that you had that firsthand experience and you said, okay, I want my clients to have that.
Yeah, totally.
Now, we started this whole process of, teaching you the ropes of this. I think our very first call might have been September 21st, something like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So between then and now, what would you say has been one of your greatest aha moments or points of growth or transformation?
Oh gosh, there's so many. How do I pick one? I think one of the biggest things for me is, that was probably one of the biggest decisions I've made in my business, to do this publishing company, to create a publishing company. For me, it was like honoring that intuitive decision, taking action, and then, going all in, like investing. And then, like, I had everything on the line for it. It was like, I need to make this work. I desire to make this work. And the first book sold out so quickly. It was like all of a sudden I had 30 women that had all invested to be a part of the book, that were really, really excited. The container came together so easily and so powerfully. And I think what it taught me was the power of tenacity, and the power of making a really powerful, courageous decision, intuitive decision, and recognizing that, we can do anything we put our minds to. Like last year was my biggest year in business times 4, compared to the years before. And yet last year was the year that, the world went into a global pandemic. There was a massive recession. It was like so much happened. And yet it was such a powerful year for me in my business because I think I really listened to my intuition and made really powerful, courageous decisions, which was facilitated by that decision to do the publishing company.
And it's true. This isn't a small decision. It's not a small project. It's not a small investment. There's nothing small about it, right?
Not at all.
Let's be honest. And you said it. It really takes being willing to be courageous. And I mean, you made this decision in a year where most people were in this wait and see mode. I don't know. Let me see how it pans out. Things are undecided, unknown, unpredictable. And yet you showed that when you made those courageous decisions, it just multiplied right back to you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And it all comes from the energy that we make decisions as well, I believe. Yes. Like I knew in my heart that this was the next step for me to take. As soon as you started talking about it, it's like everything started coming together, that 5-year-old version of me who would sit up until 3 a.m., maybe not 5, like 8-year-old version of me, reading her books, writing her stories, collating. I have stacks of journals, like from, the age of 7 or 8 years old up until now. I've always been a writer. I've always loved story. I've always, really loved the power of storytelling. And it was just the natural decision for me to do that, for me to do this.
Yes. Now, I'm sure that the very first thing that, when you make the leap, you make the decision, you come all in, is being able to get clients, right? Being able to get the contributors in your first book. So tell me a little bit about where did these clients come from and what do you think allowed them to say yes so quickly and easily?
Yeah, I think a solid half of them were clients of mine who it was an easy yes for them because they'd seen me talk about how powerful the experience was for me. They'd seen the growth that my business had made as a result of the exposure. And it was also this desire to share their story and to really take things to that next level in their business, which is what I was supporting them to do anyway. So I would say half of them were current clients of mine. And the other half were people that either, found me through my organic marketing, were referred by people by current clients in the book. I think, when you create a book like this, especially if your book has a strong energy, which I feel my books certainly do have very strong energies, it's very much, there's people who go, yes, no, yeah, that's for me, that's not for me. And I think with this one, especially Wild Woman Rising, the energy of the book, the title of the book was so powerful for the right kind of woman that it was a no-brainer. They're like, I've lived this incredible life that I really want to share. I want to use my story to build my brand, to build my momentum and visibility. And this seems like the perfect opportunity for me to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's true that the concept and the title make a difference, right?
Oh,
like you said.
Yeah,
carries its own energy, its own momentum, and it's easy for people to be able to see themselves in it or not.
Totally, which is what you want. You don't want to have people in it that are kind of half in, half out, because it's an intense process. It is an intense process to write your chapter. I had a lot of women in Wild Woman Rising say it was like a catharsis for them. It was big. It didn't necessarily come easily, but it brought up a lot of stuff. But on the other side of it, the pride and the excitement and, the joy that came from writing their chapter was massive. And I mean, we haven't even launched it yet, We're all gearing up now to launch in the next few weeks, which is going to bring its own new level of excitement.
Oh, yes. It's a whole next level. So I know that you're probably preparing your contributors and clients for release day. And I always say a book can be as big as you want it to be. It can have a huge impact. It can draw clients. It can, change the way you see yourself, all of these different things. So what is one of the biggest things that you're telling your contributors as the book prepares to be released on Amazon?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you get to say how you want this to go. Yeah, you get to focus on, what we focus on is what we create. Yeah. I think it's important to have really clear intentions about the book. Like, what do you want this book to do for the world? What do you want this book to do for you and your business? And declare it, really get powerful about it. We are that powerful. I think a lot of the time we don't recognize how powerful our intentions are and the power of our word is. So I think it can be easy for some people to kind of shrink back and to hide when such momentum and visibility is taking place. And that was me initially. It was like a bit overwhelming when I released with you the first time. But, it's like playing small doesn't serve anyone. It doesn't serve your future clients. It doesn't serve the mission that you're here, that your business is here, that you and your business are here co-creating together. All of the women that are drawn to me and my work do life, they facilitate life-changing transformation, work that has the potential the ripple effect potential to transform the world. And playing small does not help facilitate that, It's actually, I don't know if you can hear, we've got chickens out the back, one laying an egg right now. So I think that's the biggest thing is, set the intention, be clear about how you want this book to serve you and your business and how you want this book to serve the world, and call it in because we are that powerful.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Now, when you think about, and I know it's been a short time, but do you feel like starting your own publishing company and creating these experiences for other women, do you feel like it's elevated the business, the work that you already were doing?
I have no doubt that it will in the long term. I think I'm a bit of a different case in that I intentionally shut down, all of my programs came to a natural end because I'm preparing to have a baby, So I naturally closed them off, focused on the publishing company, and that's the only thing that I'm doing at the moment. I know that once I decide to come back from maternity leave, that it is a very, very powerful platform for me to launch all sorts of other things off. I can feel that. There's almost this part of me that's like a bit regretful that I have to take time off now, not regretful because I'm very excited, but, there's this part of me that's like, oh gosh, there's so much potential here. But, I've got to give myself and my baby that time to really, to introduce a new human to the world. So, yeah, I'm excited once I come back into my business. I'm really excited to launch off that platform again because it's ripe for it. Absolutely ripe. Yeah, I feel that for sure.
Yes, absolutely. It's almost like this time for you to be with your baby and, like you said, to welcome this new little one to the world is going to be, yes, it's slight downtime, but I also feel like the anticipation and the desire of your audience is only going to grow. So they're just going to pounce on whatever you put out.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I hope so.
Yes. Yeah. Now, what would you say to the person who's considering writing their chapter in one of your books? I know you have another book that you are already selling. So tell me a little bit about that and who it's right for.
Yeah, sure. So this new project, it's called Sacred Rebel: Women Who Dare to Disrupt. And this project comes with the multi-author book and also an international summit as well. So we're kind of bundling those two together, which I'm really, really excited about because the summit and the book launch really work off the back of each other very powerfully to build mass momentum, really, really big momentum. So this book is for women who are a few cycles into their business, who have a strong point of view. Yeah, I'm calling in women who believe the work they do in their business has the potential to disrupt the old outdated status quo, the old ways that aren't working, the old slavery paradigms and the media-driven fear and anxiety paradigms, and really calling in a new way, right? Calling in new ways of operating, calling in the new earth, so to speak. So the women that I'm calling in for this book, they have a strong point of view. They have a strong message and a strong desire to fulfill upon that message in their business, because this is their soul work, right? This is why they're here on the planet, to facilitate this, to help facilitate this really important global transformation. And so this book it's got quite a different energy to Wild Woman Rising, in that we're calling in women who are real experts in their field, who, like I said, have a strong message and a strong point of view, and are willing to share their story, willing to share their genius, and, do it in a way that is really loud and proud.
Yes. Yes, I love this. And so, I'm sitting here going from basically October, November, December. Okay, 3 months. The holidays packed in there as well. You sold out one book. You're selling the second book. You're launching your book on Amazon in heaven.
Yeah.
I really wish you'd just be more ambitious, Tarsh.
Yeah.
This shows how much you can accomplish in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I was thinking about this only 2 days ago when I saw on my Memories That Leaders came out 12 months ago, thinking, my God, if you had have told, the version of me 12 months ago that 12 months on, this is what she would be up to, she would have been completely disbelieving, completely and utterly disbelieving. And I think that just, it goes to show how powerful this process is, to share your story. And it's like, I think, Adriana, you talk about, when a woman conceives of a child, she becomes a mother, even, whether she has that baby or not, right? And the same is true when you enter into a container like this. You become an author, you become a best-selling author as soon as you make that decision to enter that container energetically, That's what happened for me. And when I saw our books go live on Amazon, internationally published around the world, international bestseller status, and the amount of momentum that it created for my business, the amount of people that were reaching out to me randomly, like they weren't even friends. They didn't even like my Facebook page, just reaching out because they loved my chapter and they wanted to be in my energy. They wanted to know more about my work. It's so powerful. Like, it literally changed the trajectory of 2020 for me in a massive way.
I get so emotional hearing you say that. And this is also the thing, like you said, when you said yes to yourself and you were open to telling your story and also riding that wave, taking a hold of that momentum and making the most of it, it didn't matter what was happening out there. It was happening here. Your world, right, was moving forward. You were moving the needle forward, and you were absolutely carrying out the work and the mission that you're here to do.
Yeah, and I really believe, especially with what's happening on a global scale at the moment, on a global level, it can be so easy to have that tip us into fear, into analysis paralysis. Like you said, I'm just going to sit back and watch and wait, and maybe there's going to be a better time to make an investment or to strike out in a new direction. I really believe that, as intuitive women, when we get called to do something, it's really important that we follow that calling ASAP. That's probably been the biggest lesson for me out of 2020, is like to just take action on those intuitive nudges, especially in business. I mean, some decisions don't work out, and that's absolutely normal and okay. But I haven't had a decision not work out for a long time now, because I think, honing your ability to take intuitive action and to be courageous in the face of your fear is really essential in business, especially in online entrepreneurialism.
So true. So I know that you have baby and some maternity leave coming up. Do you have a focal point for your year? Do you know what you want for this year like you did for last year?
Yeah, and that I do know now. So my word of the year is play, and I'm calling in playful curiosity in everything that I do. I don't know if that answers your question. My focal point, obviously, I've got strategy focal points and all of that, but energetically, my intention is to have a lot of fun this year And I've chosen the word play because I know having a newborn and a 5-year-old and a business and, you know, a relationship, it can be intense, right? Especially in those first few months. For me, the energy of play is really important, you know, so that it's like an anchor for me when potentially things might get really intense. Balancing all of these different things this year, how can I continue to have fun? And I believe that energy is one of the most powerful ways that we can build, whether that's in business or in our personal life. You know, having fun, it's infectious. It creates big momentum.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I've loved working with you, Tarsh, and obviously I'm so excited for your release, for the new baby. I can't wait to see this little baby. And I'm just wishing you the absolute best in the rest of the year.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm going to include details to Tarsh's book in the comment section. And if you are interested in starting your own publishing company this year, in making that courageous decision to bet on yourself, I will also put the information for that. All right, Tarsh, thank you for sharing this journey with us. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.